Good
Okay.
morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed, blessed.
Good, good. So today I'm going to talk about my experience, what I perceive as hearing God's voice, and dive into that.
Exciting.
So you had asked to meet on like a Thursday or something to do the podcast, and when I agreed to it, I felt this tension with it because we were going to dive right into talking about ice. And I felt this tension and kind of this negative energy that I didn't like in my own self, right? So I was just thinking about it for a couple days and it was sticking with me. And I didn't like it. I just recognized this feeling whenever I'd think about, oh yeah, we're going to talk in a couple weeks. I'm like, I don't like how I'm approaching this. So my prayer to God, this was on a Sunday, I think it was the 12th. My prayer to God was to prepare my heart for this conversation, and I am not used to praying. I don't pray very often, but this was the prayer that I had. So the next day was a Monday. I had agreed to go with my mom on a walk for her birthday. Her birthday had been on the 3rd. And again, my relationship with my mom has been the most difficult relationship of my life.
So this is something that was a little abnormal. Not
This was like we've had our ups and downs. Like she apologized for how she was as a parent, but I still had this negative energy with her and I would get angry with her easily. I was just still struggling with that. So this walk, I was hesitant to go on this walk. Okay. So I'm at Lincoln Park. I'm getting out of my car to go walk over to her. I just dropped the kids off and, I was just kinda busy running around and I was, again, hesitant to see her in the parking lot as I'm walking to her. I feel this change of energy, and this is the energy that was actually the most significant change. It felt like this kind of dam of water almost type energy, and I hear what I interpret to be God's voice say, "It's your turn to apologize to her for your anger toward her as an adult because she's also been the person that I've had the most anger toward. I've had what I would describe as destructive anger where I lash out and there's different kinds of anger. there, and this was one that was toxic that I had toward her still. I had been really the meanest to her probably out of anyone. So immediately when I hear that and it's very clear, it's very loud. It's like a parent to a child saying, you need to apologize. It's not judgmental, it's not angry, but it's just stating the facts of the situations. I uh, I have this overwhelming emotion with it. And it immediately hits my heart because I realize that it is true. I need to apologize. I need to let go of my anger. And so I apologize. I can barely get the words out. But we're surrounded by people. So this is not like the perfect moment to do this. I would say to my mom, I feel that God's telling me that I need to apologize to you for the anger that I've had toward you and for how I've treated you. And I feel this huge sense. I don't feel light, but I feel like this is healing for me.
okay.
And I'm really kindly honest with her about, growing up with her as a child, how I felt, how she treated me. My parents went through a really ugly divorce. We talked through that. And the kindest way I could was really honest with her and just released all of that. Okay.
It's the only way to be is
It's the
be
only
honest.
way to be, but it
You
is
have to be.
hard. If you have someone who
Understand?
really,
Because it is extremely important, right, to let those walls down of insecurity or to let the truth be told.
yeah,
And not even just to be told, but to be discussed and talked about, right? And we could have all done it a little bit different or something like that, right? So
right, right. Yeah, yeah. So God was showing me that I'm always responsible for my anger. And if it's destructive anger, I deserve to get, or that person deserves an apology from me. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if I feel like they've wronged me and they haven't apologized. I am responsible for my own spiritual journey. They are responsible for their own spiritual journey.
It's a tough one to swallow. That's called pride at times.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
brutal.
Because
It's
you
brutal
want
on
to,
you, the individual speaking it.
yeah, you want to say, I deserve an apology first before I say anything to them. But that's actually not how that's not the message God's telling me. Even though my mom did apologize, but the message is I'm always responsible for my destructive anger. I'm always responsible for, if something sticks with me that I've done that I feel like is a negative interaction that plays over in my mind. I'm going to get to that next, actually. So, yeah, we're all on our own spiritual journeys. With this apology, I'm really letting go of my anger because I needed to address that and release that. And it's like when someone comes at us, they're trying to hurt us or, whatever it is, and we don't have this shield of love up to just be like, hey, how you're treating me is not right. I'm going to step away from the situation. We don't have that kind boundary up. We instead respond back to them. We take our shield down. We respond back to them with anger. Then that anger sticks with us. Like then we know that they've gotten to us, right? They've pierced us. Our shield was down and like it's in us now and we got to release that. I come home, I'm super proud of myself. And this came out of nowhere. I was not expecting this to happen. I tell Zach, God was really telling me I need to apologize. And this is the first time I've really felt like God's talking to me. So that night, 10 p.m., everybody's asleep. I hear God's voice again. And he says, you have more apologies. The message is basically, you need to reach out to more people. And 3 friends come to mind that previously I considered best friends. One, we just kind of drifted apart from each other, but I felt like I hadn't been there for her when she needed me to be there. It was sticking with me that I wasn't there for her. And I needed to reach out to say, hey, I feel like I wasn't there for you and I apologize for that. I wish that I would have been there. Looking back, I should have been there for you in that situation. Another friend, I realized that it wasn't I didn't feel like it was a healthy relationship or friendship for me any longer. And I had just basically shut off communication. So I feel like it wasn't that I ended the friendship that was the problem. It was how I did it. And I knew it wasn't right.
So let's get to the third one.
The third one,
You've still reached out to all 3 of them, correct?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the third one.
She it this was actually the most damaging for me. It was someone who one minute I thought she was one of my best friends. The next minute she's assaulting me. Yeah.
Like physically.
Physically. This also alcohol was involved.
So that's why I was. Were we adults though?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Alcohol was
know,
involved. I'll just leave it at
because
that.
I've gotten in a fight with my best friend too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and guess
Yeah.
what? We were friends again, and
Mm-hmm.
the week after or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And we literally blackened each other's faces, black and
Yeah.
blue or each other's faces and stuff.
Yeah.
It like that. I just had to ask. So
Yeah. Yeah. She assaulted me. I was shocked by that because I did not think we had any kind of uh, negativity at the time. Again, I considered her one of my best friends at the time.
so you slammed the door on that one.
There was a real sense of betrayal there. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was telling me she didn't want to be friends.
But you cut it off, right? So after that, you just let it be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that we met in that meeting. I lashed out back at her in anger and was trying to say every hurtful thing I could think of, and that was wrong. The guy was saying, you have to apologize for that. I don't care if she did assault you. I don't care what happened. You lashed out at her in destructive anger and it's sticking with you. It's actually, it's for you to let go of in your own heart.
Got a question on all 3 of these. So you've reached out to all 3 women, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Previous friends. Did all 3 of them respond?
All 3 of them responded. Yeah.
So they've all responded. And since then, one, what was their response? 2, did they apologize as well for
Mhm.
their, we'll just say, role in the
Yeah.
breakup of friendship, right?
Right. Mhm.
And their wrongdoings,
Mhm.
and where are you guys at today?
Yeah.
Because those are
Yeah.
all three real, like, they're very different situations. I've also
Yeah.
seen it in my life where I have cut out dear friends because of
Yeah.
personal life decisions that don't coincide with
Mhm.
mine and or my family's
Right.
morals and or values. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that too, because you have to protect yourself. Where are you at with where the friendship stands?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just wanna reiterate that it's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to end a friendship, obviously. Like, if you're going on different tracks, you have to pay attention to how you do it, how you do it. If you know that things that have been left unsaid that you need to say, it's like, does it stick with you? Does it feel wrong a little bit, or does it not? Or do you feel good with it? Because there have been friendships that I've ended where I felt like I ended it in a kindly, honest way, and that's different than ending your friendship in a hurtful way, you know? So that's the difference. But as far as if they apologize, the friend that I had grown apart with, she was open to becoming friends again.
I'm not trying to dig anything up, Rob. Just I'm
Yeah,
curious on how all three of these
responded. Yeah.
situations played out, right? Because this is
Yeah.
a part of your journey with God, and
Yeah.
this is also a potential part of their journey with God as well.
Absolutely.
Because
Mm,
again, you reaching out to somebody can affect the trajectory of their life. So I'm a firm believer in that. Though.
yeah. So the friend that I grew apart with, I feel like we had really good closure, and there might be a time when we become friends again. But it was a very positive interaction with her,
Good.
where like we both said that we loved each other. The second friend where I cut off communication, it was not a positive response back. She said that she didn't really understand my narrative that I was telling her, like she didn't agree with my narrative. And I didn't do that apology the best way either, because I tried to explain why I felt the relationship wasn't healthy for me. That's a really tight rope you got to walk, because
That
then
makes
it's like, hey, I'm kind of pointing the finger at you, but
or
you
trying to
don't want to do
apologize
that.
for your wrongdoings at the
Yeah,
same
you don't
time.
want to do that. Like, really, God just wanted me to focus on just saying sorry and moving on. The third one was positive. I wouldn't say she apologized, but she said something to the effect of, thank you for
Reaching
something
out.
about like allowing me to go through the learning that I went through. And she said, what you said wasn't undeserved. So it was a positive interaction. I felt like, again, we had closure.
So three different reactions too.
Three different reactions, and that's what's gonna happen when you're apologizing to people. I mean, some are gonna go well, some are gonna be really a sense of peace, and some aren't gonna go well. You're not gonna do them perfectly. I didn't do them
You know
perfectly.
why? Because we're
What?
human. We're
Yeah, and
all different.
we're all
So the
trying.
second person, they didn't apologize or accept your apology.
No. No.
So you see that, right? The first person accepted your apology, apologized,
Mhm.
and potentially might be a new friendship. Second, nothing. And that might
Mhm.
have been your fault too. Let me rephrase that. I
It was
apologize.
my fault too. I told her that, yeah. I mean, it was definitely
Well,
I had a hand in that
I'm
unhealthy.
talking about I'm talking about the delivery, right? But
Oh, the delivery too.
there's
Yeah,
no
for sure.
playbook for anything that we do. There's
Mhm.
always a better way to do it.
Always.
Another way that somebody might like different.
We're
But this
learning.
person, you didn't get anything. The third
No.
person, it was a completely different reaction. She accepted your apology.
Yeah.
She was open to it.
Yeah.
Didn't respond back negatively. She responded back positively, but
Yeah.
she didn't apologize for her actions, but she was open and receptive to yours. So
Mhm.
all three different outcomes,
Response.
but at the end of the day, it was what was needed for your personal growth.
It was me recognizing when I've been wrong, and I know it in my own heart. And it only has to be wrong to me. Like, it's sticking with me, so I need to vocalize it and let that out and let it go. Yeah, again, it wasn't about restarting a friendship. It was just about my own spiritual journey and God telling me, you need to apologize, that these things are sticking with you and that you're not going to get past this part. I realize at some point that this is God's response to me asking Him to change my heart, because that was my prayer to God. And He's telling me what to do. So Tuesday, the next day, He's bringing up more people. And these are like the less serious situations for me, but still situations where I feel like I acted immaturely. I was hurtful. And they are the scenarios that kind of play in your mind. You think about from time to time saying, I didn't do that quite right. And I had never apologized. There is a list of about 10 people that I reach out to. This includes cousins. This includes coworkers, a former boss, a variety of people. And it's every scenario that I can think of. And God's saying, clean it out. So I do. I make calls, I email, send text messages. I find them on Facebook. Anyone where I have felt like, for example, we had a family house that after my grandpa passed, I stepped in to enforce what I felt was the will that my grandpa left. And it wasn't that I did that. It's not that I stepped in, it's how I did it. Because how I did it was really careless about people's feelings. And I needed to apologize to two cousins for that specifically. So that's an example of where I recognized I should have done that differently. It's not the action that I did that was wrong, because I think it was ultimately the right decision. It's the way that I did it.
Approach.
Yeah, the approach. And it's always all about how you do things, right? It's not just about what you're doing. So reach out to these 10 people. Anyway, this is happening over the course of several days, just to kind of give you that picture. But Tuesday, I am driving my daughter to school. God's speaking loudly to me, and I feel this energy. I feel this presence. I am having a lot of emotion. It's emotionally exhausting reaching out and doing all of these apologies and letting all of this go, and also hearing the responses back. It's a lot. And I feel God's presence closely. I've never felt this before.
So my question, I got another question. Is
Yeah.
it more why can't you just apologize to God in your prayer to these people? Or is it more of a you personally want to do it, right? Which is
Hmm.
fine. And were you open or were you accepting some of the I don't know the negative feedback from some of these people? Because again, you've only
Yeah.
mentioned three. You didn't get great feedback on the second one, right? Or at least
Hmm.
positive feedback, right? It was more or
Hmm.
less almost like another negative, situation, because that could be something that kind of hinders your healing process too. But if you're open to those people being not so
Hmm.
receptive to your apology and
Yeah.
your re-entering of their life and bringing up potentially damaging wounds, because everybody's so
Yeah.
emotional nowadays.
Yeah.
So were you open and ready for that, for some of
I
that negative
was.
feedback?
I was. The friend who, didn't agree with my narrative, that's okay. It's not my responsibility to change her mind or anything. It's only my responsibility to apologize. And I have to just let it go. She's on her own journey. I'm on my own journey.
Good.
And
And I
thankfully,
agree.
yeah, thankfully, besides her, like the one former manager I had, I reached out to her on Facebook. She didn't respond. And she saw it, didn't respond. But it doesn't matter what their response is back. Again, it's just about me letting go of that negativity, recognizing when I feel like I've gone away that God didn't want me to go.
Well, you also got to process the ones that don't reply back to you and leave
Yeah.
you on unread
Yeah.
forever and never respond back. And
Mhm.
I guess again, the righteous thing to do or whatever is just again to wish them nothing but the best. And
Yeah.
you've already done what you were set out to do, and
Right.
you can't do any more. You can't force anybody else's hand to acknowledge you, or or apologize to you or respond
Right.
to you positively. So again,
Right.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
I don't pray as much as you do. I don't
I don't,
really
but this is
pray.
the
I
thing,
am a
I don't
very
pray, Garrett. I
but
don't
you're
pray.
having like these talks and stuff and these
Yeah, but
awakenings and
that's because God was very present after he told me to apologize to my mom. I will describe it this way. It's like with every apology I did, it was taking away the static. It's like I have my little antenna up, and my antenna is usually my intuition. And there's all this static, this negativity that I've been holding on to, my own actions. And with each apology, I'm letting all of this negativity go away. So my little antenna is getting a much more direct connection with God, is how I felt. I could feel the energy. I could feel the energy the whole time for about a week, but every time he had a message for me, the energy would spike. It was like, pay attention to what's about to happen.
so
Yeah.
your mom. Your mom
Mhm.
was like, is that been the most traumatic relationship
Yeah.
besides your mom? What was the next traumatic? Have you reached out to that person
I'd
besides
say
your mom?
the friend who assaulted me, because that was such a sense of betrayal. It was like I loved her, I was there for her, I thought she was my best friend, and all of a sudden, she is physically attacking me.
And I asked that because I mean, I mean, you're over here just swinging for the fucking fences and shit. I mean, it's just, I'll start with all the heavy hitters first, and
That's
then
how it was. God's like, address these heavy hitters, and now we're gonna get into the little stuff. And like I said, as I'm taking all that away, I'm letting all of it go. I'm letting it go. It's like I'm on a radio. I'm on the radio and I'm searching for a channel, and it's just static, 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 static. And all of a sudden, it's like, ping! You got a direct connection right now. That's how I felt. And I'll just
it's
tell you,
amazing
as the week went on, it was just message after message after message.
how often do you pray? You definitely pray more than me as of lately, because I just told you the last time I
Well,
prayed,
I
and
would
that's been at
say
least 2 months or a month.
what got me praying was seeing the evil happening to the Palestinians. That's what I never prayed before that. And my first prayer to God then was to change me into who he wanted me to be, and that I recognize the evil in the world. I recognize that I want to help work against that evil, however he wants me to do that. That was the first prayer I had had in, like, decades.
So, and I think you're doing that slowly, and
Mhm.
you actually brought a lot of that to light today, right? And it's not necessarily, yes, you're trying to bring up world issues and stuff like that, but you're solving your own issues by
Yeah.
bringing those up because you're now reaching out through God to other people to at
Mhm.
least cleanse your soul, we'll call it.
Us each touching, like, that negative energy.
Yeah, you're seeing evil all over, right? And over there. And you still want to bring it up and talk about it, but you're actually
Right.
doing stuff that you're personally in control of. You can't control what is ultimately happening over on the other side of the world,
I
right?
disagree, actually, respectfully.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
I think that we each have to look into what levers we have to pull to affect change with those conflicts. So we'll
Agreed.
get into that.
I mean, it's an easy, I guess it's
Mhm.
easier to control what is actually in your hands. It's easier to control what is in your hands than what is out of your hands. That's what I'm saying. And
Mhm.
in my opinion, that's what you're doing first is again, you're taking responsibility and you're taking ownership and you're doing and stuff that you're 100% responsible and capable of doing.
What I did
There's a lot
first wasn't this.
more.
What I
What
did
say that
first
again?
wasn't this. Like, remember last week when we talked, what I did first was I identified that my tax money was going to this genocide in Gaza. And I identified that the ways that I could work against my tax money going to this genocide in Gaza was to call my representatives, to boycott, to protest, to say, I do not want my money backing this genocide. I do not want my representatives, my government giving diplomatic cover for Israel. So that was like that was the first thing I did, but God is showing me, oh, you can't, this isn't just about that. Like, you got to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself, and you've done some things that you need to apologize for. So, again, this day, he was bringing up more people. reaching out to these about 10 different people. That night after the kids are in bed, God's telling me he wants to actually have me prepare for this talk that we're going to have. So he wants me to write everything down. He wants me to make these simple diagrams of my understanding of loving ourselves in a healthy way and then loving others in a healthy way and then trusting God. So he wants me to just make these simple visuals. Okay, so this is step one. This is what is like our bachelor's degree here on earth. And first, we have to recognize that each have equal value to everyone else. And that is actually part of loving ourselves. So the bachelor's equal value. We each have equal value to everyone else. And he shows me this gold, beautiful piece that is in each of us. And it's the same size, it's the same weight, it's made of the same material. And that's our soul. Each of us is exactly the same in that sense. And it doesn't matter how, quote unquote, bad of a person you are or quote unquote, good of a person you are. Your soul has equal value to everyone. Forgiveness, there is a relationship that you have between, others and yourself with that forgiveness, which we talked about. Like you have to, if they ask for forgiveness from you, that's healing. But your responsibility is always to recognize when you need to ask someone else for forgiveness, whether or not they've apologized to you for how they've hurt you. So this area right here is like connecting us to others. Okay. And when you're actually loving yourself, and we can talk about, I want to hear from you, your perspective on this. But when we're loving ourselves in a healthy way, these are maybe the only things that really matter to loving ourselves. We have health and safety. So with your body, making sure that you're taking care of your body, you're respecting your body. I struggle with exercise, and this is about my own discipline and my own self-love and self-care. Then we have the mind. This is obviously such an important piece. Mindfulness and meditation, that helps you make some of those invisible thoughts and perspectives and that kind of negativity that creeps in. It helps you recognize when that's creeping in so that you can begin changing it and begin addressing it. And if you don't have that time for meditation, for prayer, for self reflection, you're not going to have much of a chance of growing, for one thing. And you're not going to be able to take care of yourself and love yourself. So that's a huge piece of it, is having time to meditate, to pray. Authenticity. What do you want to learn about that brings you happiness, that you're excited about? And this is, having hobbies, learning about what you want to learn about. All of this is honoring your uniqueness that God has given you, and it lights you up. Like it's anything that lights you up in a healthy way where you're excited, you feel like you're growing, or you feel like it's giving you a sense of joy. Boundaries. So of course we always need to have boundaries. That's part of loving ourselves and recognizing when something is happening that is negatively affecting our needs. So yeah, it could be people that you need to have a boundary with. Like I know you spoke about people in your life that weren't respecting your boundaries. It could be unhealthy patterns that you recognize for yourself. Okay, I'm having this unhealthy pattern. I need to create a boundary. I need to be disciplined with that. It could be anything that's excess, whether it's, for me, shopping is like, I think for a lot of people. I mean, our culture just continually tells us we need to buy something. So we need to recognize that. Is it something that we need? And it's really part of loving ourselves, not falling into the trap that the world tells us that we need things that we don't need, and we need to impress other people, and we need to have a really nice car, have a really nice house, or, just more and more consumption. Another big piece of this, from my perspective, is connecting to earth, because earth is our temporary home, but it
You need to
is
have
from God.
boundary. You need to have grounding.
Yeah, exactly. We are part of this world right now. We are part of nature in this world. Respecting and appreciating that we are connected to it, and part of developing or growing, or being consistently a part of nature and feeling that connection to nature is part of loving ourselves from my perspective.
I agree.
So there isn't really much else. We should be focusing on these things because, again, the message that we get from God is to love others as ourselves. We need to love ourselves first. And this, from my perspective, is how we do that. Well, we'll stop there. We
Start
can
there.
restart the love others.
We'll pick up next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
All
Love
right.
it.
Love y'all.
Have a great day. Love you. Talk to you
Later.
soon. Bye.